Hello everybody, Super Saiyan Science here, and yes, I did recently change my name from Dr. Goku to Super Saiyan Science, and I wanted to officially state that here so there's no confusion later on. Now I hope you enjoyed today's video. Over the last few days, I've been watching a handful of videos on what the community thinks the true mastered Super Saiyan multiplier is, and so today, I will be explaining my theory on what the actual multiplier for mastered Super Saiyan is, along with the remaining 3 grades of Super Saiyan, being Super Saiyan Grade 1, 2, and 3. Now before everybody jumps on into the comment section and starts saying that the official power multiplier is 50 times, you're wrong, unsubscribe. Today's topic is a theory, and it should enlighten you on seeing that these grades should be seen differently. So please hold your comments until the end of the video. So in Dragon Ball Super, we state that the Saiyans have learned a new technique, and because of the transformation, it causes them to mutate and multiply their powers many times over. Now I'll be covering this topic separately in the future video because there is no simple answer to give as to why Whis goes on to say that the Super Saiyan technique is a mutation. We know that originally a Saiyan needs a lot of anger and a higher than normal battle power in order to transform, and as such, this happens in Dragon Ball Z in the anime and the manga, and as well as in Super's anime and manga and almost all of the transformation occasions. Additionally, both the Daizenshu 7 and the Super Exciting Guide state that the official Super Saiyan multiplier is 50 times base power. We originally see the Super Saiyan transformation happen during Goku's fight with Frieza and Namek, and we are shown how incredibly prolific it is, giving Goku a huge upper hand versus Frieza, allowing him to win. This form later in the series is known as Super Saiyan Grade I, one of the 5 grades of Super Saiyan, where Grade 5 would also be called Super Saiyan 2. Super Saiyan Grade 2 is achieved by Vegeta first, and he goes on to nickname himself Super Vegeta. He achieves this form in the Room of Spirit and Time, and immediately after exiting from there, him and Trunks flew over to Semi-Perfect Cell. Vegeta went on to use this form against Cell's second form, and we saw how much more powerful Vegeta was against Cell. On top of this, we also saw a somewhat difference between grades 1 and 2 thanks to Cell. Since Cell was in his second stage after absorbing 17, we can only assume that this new form must be at least equal to the sums of Android 17 and Imperfect Cell's power together. Unfortunately, there were no more power levels after Frieza's and Goku's fight, so I'll be using some headcanon here in order to make sense of my next few points. I believe that when Trunks and Vegeta entered the Room of Spirit and Time, Vegeta's base would be about 20 million, and Trunks would be around 10 million, and after some time, he would have caught up to Vegeta and they would have become equals in their base form. I think that since they did not technically train together for a year like Goku and Gohan did, that they were only located in the Room of Spirited Time at the same time, so that at the end of the year of training, their base powers would have only doubled, or they would have been 40 million for Vegeta. And so in his Super Saiyan Grade 1 state, they would have both been at 2 billion of a. Now we also need to scale Semi-Perfect Cell to by having an idea of what Android 17 and Imperfect Cell's power was. Vegeta now crosses path with Cell and starts saying that he's going to wipe the floor with him. Cell doesn't believe any of this because in Vegeta's current Super Saiyan state, he doesn't compare to him at all. Yet Android 17 mentions that Vegeta's power has grown since Android 18 has last fought him, and hints at him even having a shot with Cell. Since we gave Vegeta a 2 times multiplier after a year of training, saying that his base state would be 20 million and Super Saiyan Grade 1 would be at 1 million, yet when he fought Android 18, she completely murdered him, either breaking or dislocating both of his arms. So I believe that Android 18 would be at least 1.75 times stronger than Super Saiyan Grade 1 Vegeta, or she would be at a power level of at least 1.75 billion. We also know that Android 17 is slightly stronger than Android 18, but we're never given a precise number or a figure, so let's estimate Android 17 at about 1.2 times stronger than Android 18, or basically around 2 billion. so that when him and Piccolo are fighting, it's also hard to tell, but Piccolo does have a slight advantage over Android 17. And by using more headcanon, we can say that he was maybe 1.1 or 1.15 times stronger than Android 17, putting him around 2.25 billion. Android 17 and Piccolo was surprisingly met by an impatient Perfect Cell. Android 16 eventually steps in and fights Cell, and we see that they're both just about equal, catching each other off guard on occasion, but more or less they're equal in potential. So Android 16 and Imperfect Cell are about the same, and I also want to put them at 2.5 billion. So now we can say that Semi-Perfect Cell is equal to Imperfect Cell plus Android 17. Or we could also say that it would be 2 billion plus 2.5 billion, which is equal to at least 4.5 billion for Semi-Perfect Cell. Now the fight between Vegeta and Semi-Perfect Cell begins. The Prince begins to power up to full power Super Saiyan Grade 1, with Piccolo even commenting on his energy, saying that it's continuing to grow and grow. And at this point, Cell becomes aware of Vegeta's power increasing. As he just ascended from Grades 1 to Grades 2 in power, Vegeta's first move is to place his fist firmly in Cell's gut, definitely inflicting major damage, and now they proceed on to fight. Between both Cell and Trunks completely pummeling Semi-Perfect Cell into the ground, it's very easy to say that they had a major boost in energy, so obviously they would be much stronger. And I want to say that they're about 1.2 times stronger than Semi-Perfect Cell, or putting their power level at 5 billion. This also gives a 2.5 times multiplier on top of Grades 1 50 times multiplier, giving them 125 times base power. Eventually Cell uses Tien's solar flare technique, and he's able to impair everybody, and then he's able to absorb Android 18 and transform into his perfect form, or Perfect Cell. So now this marks the true fight between Cell and Vegeta. And at this point, Cell was tossing Vegeta around, having him become completely helpless even when he used his final flash attack, and it did nothing against Cell since he was able to regenerate. He then knocked out Vegeta and tossed him aside. So up until this point, we know that Perfect Cell is leagues above Super Saiyan Grade II Vegeta, who was also stronger than Semi-Perfect Cell, who was stronger than Grade 1 Super Saiyan. Once Cell tossed Vegeta out of the ring and unconscious, that's when Trunks started to power up, and we saw him go from Grades 2 onto Grade 3, where his muscles and his entire body mass became so much larger. We actually see a big difference because Krillin first sends Vegeta powering up to Grade 2, and he states that his ki increased to a huge amount, while when he was standing next to Trunks, who was going into Grade 3, he was absolutely terrified of what was going on. Even Cell looked up in astonishment at Trunks' increase in power. Even before Trunks was at full power Super Saiyan Grade 3, Krillin was saying that Trunks right now, he might be the strongest in the universe. Based on the initial results of Super Saiyan Grade 3 Trunks' fight, we can conclude that it's definitely stronger than Grade 2, because Trunks was holding a better fight against Cell than Vegeta ever could. Based on the El Legendario magazine, it states that this form is 10 times Super Saiyan Grade 1, otherwise it would calculate as 500 times base. But this form also slows you down and drains your energy much faster than the grades before. Even though that there is a huge increase in strength, your speed decreases otherwise. And you can look at this as if your power level will not change due to the power increase, yet the speed and stamina decreasing. We're all aware that a character's power level is based on all of their stats, not just strength or speed or stamina alone. Yet, regardless of this, we can still base that Grade 3 is higher than Grade 2, who's higher than Semi-Perfect Cell, who's still higher than Grade 1. But in other words, we can also say that Grade 3 is 10 times Grade 1. Finally, Goku and Gohan emerge from the Room of Spirit and Time, and everyone is shocked because they're able to stay in the Super Saiyan form the entire time that they've been out without any visible strain on their bodies. Piccolo even reacts to how much Gohan has changed, saying that he's become much stronger, even though he was definitely suppressed. Goku first goes to Cell to assess his own power, and then to Korin, and he mentions how if they fought right now, he would lose. Yet he also rejected any offers of going back into the Room of Spirit and Time to train. Rather, him and Gohan would be using the remaining 9 days to train outside and rest instead. Before leaving, Goku ends up making fun of Vegeta, saying that he's far above him, and Vegeta should use all of the time left in the Room of Spirit and Time if he plans on catching up to him. Finally, the Cell games begin, and mid-fight, Cell says internally how Goku is a real fighter and having something special inside of him, and that's different from all of the other fighters. Goku and Cell decide to get serious, and in chapter 399 of the manga, after Goku powers up to full strength, Trunks says Goku has no peer, and he can definitely relate himself to his own internal power. Even if there is a significant strength decrease from Trunks in Super Saiyan Grade 3 form, he would at least be able to compare both of their individual strengths, and even so, Goku's is higher. Everyone but Gohan is shocked about Goku's new ki. Gohan didn't find it any more than just pretty good. Yet we all know how this fight ends. Depending everyone being surprised with Goku's strength and ability, he still gives up and chooses Gohan to fight Cell next. Eventually, all of Gohan's family friends are pinned down by Cell Jr.'s and Android 16 giving him the heartfelt speech, followed by being crushed by Cell. Gohan finally lets go and transform into Super Saiyan 2. This form, without a doubt, would have the 2x multiplier on top of Super Saiyan, but on top of which grade would it be a multiplier of? If we look back into the official guides, it says that Super Saiyan 2 is a 2x multiplier on top of Super Saiyan, but would it be topped on top of Mastered Super Saiyan form, or grades 1 through 3, resulting in a 100 times base form increase? In my opinion, it would never make sense for Super Saiyan 2's power increase only to be applied to grade 1, since that form wouldn't even rival that of Trunks or Vegeta's power, and thus it would be far behind in Gohan's new power. So I think that the power multiplier is added on top of Mastered Super Saiyan and results in a 500 times multiplier on top of base without any loss of stamina or speed, and yet it would be comparable to the strength of Super Saiyan Grade 3. Our last piece of evidence comes from Dragon Ball Super during Vegeta's and Cabba's fight. Vegeta says to Cabba that he isn't bad, that in base form they are evenly matched as their Gala guns are equal. Vegeta would then end up pushing Cabba to transform into a Super Saiyan after Vegeta kept mocking and threatening his family. Cabba became filled with rage and anger from everything Vegeta was saying, and he finally transformed. But in doing so, he also lost a lot of control and went nuts with various attacks, even though he landed most of them. It also seemed like they were hurting Vegeta, but during Cabba's energy blast volley, Vegeta smirks and waves away the rest of the ki blasts. Then Cabba charged at Vegeta with everything he had, and he struck him directly into the forehead, yet Vegeta did not even budge from the hit. Their fight becomes a clear indicator of how Mastered Super Saiyan is so much more superior over Grade 1 Super Saiyan. So now, based on all of this evidence, what do you guys think? Let me know what your suggestions are and your comments in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and also please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content like this. I hope you enjoyed the video, and until the next one, have a great one.